This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Tilani Piris. 21 new judges to the Supreme Court were sworn in before President today. Justice Ajjunobe Sekara was sworn in as the President of the Court of Appeal. The total count of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 24,255. The bodies of COVID-19 victims that were not claimed by the relatives will be cremated on the government's expense. The GC ordinary level examination will be postponed. Schools in the Eastern Province will be closed for 3 days due to inclement weather. And on news overseas, Biden nominates a woman as U.S. Treasury Secretary for the first time. The president pledges to support independence of the judiciary and ensures its functioning is free of politicization and other forms of interference. Marking a new milestone in the judicial system of the country, 21 new judges to superior courts were sworn in before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. 6 new judges to the Supreme Court and 14 new judges to the Court of Appeal to courts before President Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat this evening. Justice Ajjunobe Sekara was sworn in as the President of the Court of Appeal. Addressing the gathering, the President pointed out that the judicial cadre of both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal has remained static since 1978. Although the necessity of increasing the number of judges in the superior courts has been mooted several times in the past, the number of judges in both courts has remained the same for over 40 years. There have been much advancement in the law and litigation has increased exponentially in this time. However, there has not been a corresponding increase in the number of judges. The President further said that the 20th Amendment to the Constitution has granted provisions to make necessary changes in the judiciary activities of the judiciary should be transparent in order to have public confidence towards the legal process. The total count of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 24,255 as more persons were tested positive for the virus. The Department of Government Information said 268 more fresh cases have been detected within the day. With the new surge, the Minuwangoda-Paliagoda cluster has registered a total of 20,716 cases to date. The total of COVID-19 recoveries reported in Sri Lanka went up again as 257 patients were discharged from hospitals today. According to the epidemiology unit's data, the recoveries now stand at 17,817. Meanwhile, 6,320 active cases are still receiving treatment. 118 patients have died due to the virus. Meanwhile, the Disaster Management Centre says the bodies of COVID-19 victims that were not claimed by the relatives will be cremated on the government's expense. Director General of the Centre, Major General Sudhanta Ranasinghe, said the remains of several unclaimed victims are currently placed at government hospitals. The President has given directives to cremate these bodies in compliance with health and legal recommendations, and the DMC will bear the expense of the cremation process. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus Ladies Only, protecting you who drives our nation forward.
The Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne says that the situation in the Mahara prison is now under control. Measures will be taken to provide more facilities to inmates. Security in the prison premises has been tightened. The death toll following the Mahara prison riot has hiked to 11. A total of 107 persons injured in the incident are currently receiving treatment at the Ragama Hospital. Meanwhile, rapid antigen tests carried out on the hospitalized inmates confirmed that a total of 38 hospitalized inmates are positive for COVID-19. The Supreme Court has rejected the petitions filed challenging the Gazette notification on the cremation of bodies of COVID-19 victims. 11 petitions were filed seeking a court order invalidating the Gazette notification declaring cremation of COVID-19 victims compulsory. The petitions were heard before the three-judge bench comprising Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya and Justices Murdu Fernando and Preeti Padman Surasena. Declaring the verdict after considering the petitions, Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya stated that all the petitions are rejected with the majority consensus of the judge bench. That ends local news for now.
Every morning, my drive is not just to work. I'm driving my nation's progress.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus Ladies Only. An exclusive motor insurance designed for you. Up to 75,000 rupees worth instant claim settlements within 3 working hours. Call and move facility. 24/7 roadside assistance. And accommodation cost reimbursements at an accident. Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus Ladies Only. Protecting you who drives our nation forward.
Only from Sri Lanka Insurance.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Pires, said that the GC Ordinary Level Examination will not be held on the dates scheduled previously. It was previously decided to hold the examination from the 18th to the 27th of January 2021. The minister said that the new dates will be announced 6 weeks prior to the date of the examination. He pointed out that nearly 50% of the grade 11 student population is currently unable to carry on with their academic activities in the current COVID-19 situation. However, the possibility of holding an examination will be explored by analyzing the situation in the country every 2 weeks. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watchlight tonight, schools in the eastern province will be closed from tomorrow to Friday due to inclement weather condition in the province. Eastern Province Governor Anuradha Yahampats gave instructions in this connection to provincial education officers this morning. The Met Department has warned that the cyclonic storm is entering the eastern sea coast. That came to you in Watchlight. Moving on with world news and the headlines first. Biden nominates a woman as U.S. Treasury Secretary for the first time. China refuses to apologize to Australia for fake soldier image. Australian scientists map millions of galaxies with new telescope. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has named ex-Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen as his nominee for Treasury Secretary. If confirmed by the Senate, she would be the first woman ever to hold the post. She was among several women chosen for top economic positions. The Biden transition team said others were set to break racial barriers if confirmed. Mr. Biden has pledged to build a diverse administration. He earlier pointed out an all-female senior press team. China has accused Australia of trying to deflect public attention from alleged war crimes by its soldiers in Afghanistan after Canberra expressed outrage over a repugnant tweet. Australia has demanded an apology for sharing the fake image of an Australian soldier killing an Afghan child. Beijing has now said that Australia was trying to blame China for the worsening of bilateral ties. Relations between the two nations have plummeted to a new low in recent days. Australian scientists say they have mapped 1 million new galaxies using an advanced telescope in the desert. The CSIRO, the National Science Agency, said its new telescope had created a new atlas of the universe in record time showing unprecedented detail. It mapped 3 million galaxies in total, with pictures revealing twice the level of detail of previous surveys, the study said. Astronomers hope the images will lead to new discoveries about the universe. Back to the world news headlines. Biden nominates a woman as U.S. Treasury Secretary for the first time. China refuses to apologize to Australia for fake soldier image. Australian scientists map millions of galaxies with new telescope. That ends world news. Moving on with development news, the Ratmalani International Airport is to be developed under 5 main categories. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that preliminary plans have been made to implement the development program. He said that government hopes to develop it as a hub for internal airline and leisure services. The government hopes to develop the Ratmalani Airport as a regional training centre and as a regional international airport connecting India and the Maldives. That's development news. Coming up, sports news. Dambulla Viking won the 7th match of Lanka Premier League against Colombo Kings, played in Hambantota by 28 runs. Dambulla Vikings scored 175 for 9 wickets in 20 overs. Dasun Shanka scored 56 with 4 sixers and 6 boundaries. Colombo Kings were all out for 147 runs in 18.4 overs. The 8th match of Lanka Premier League between Jaffna Stallions and Kandy Tuskers is being played in Hambantota at present. Jaffna Stallions won the toss and elected to bat a short while ago. The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for several proposals on sports in the country. Some of these proposals are increasing the number of sports schools, development of infrastructure at the sports schools, as well as increasing nutrition allowances and other allowances. That came to you in sports news.
Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's vehicle registrations in October hit a record low across the board, including all commercial vehicle categories, due to the economic impact of the second wave of COVID-19 outbreak and import restrictions on personal vehicle imports. There were 4,236 units of vehicles registered in October this year, a drop from 29,659 units registered in October last year, according to data compiled by JB Securities, a Colombo-based research firm. That was business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The wait is over and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news. Courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The Cabinet of Ministers has decided to extend the validity period of the order issued under the Foreign Exchange Act regarding the restriction of outflows of foreign exchange. Approval was given at the Cabinet meeting held on 24th of June 2020 to issue an order valid for a period of 6 months under the Foreign Exchange Act to impose restrictions on capital transactions that cause foreign exchange outflows. That's economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now to conclude the weather report, the Met Department says the deep depression is expected to intensify further into a cyclonic storm and very likely to cross Sri Lanka. The depression area in the southeast Bay of Bengal has concentrated into a deep depression and lay centered 500 kilometers southeast to Trincomalee today. The system is very likely to move northwestwards and cross the eastern coast of Sri Lanka between Batticaloa and Point Pedro tomorrow. Intermittent showers and thunder showers will occur in the eastern, northern, central, northwestern and central and Sabaragama provinces. Very heavy rainfall above 200 millimeters and heavy rainfall above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places. Very strong gusty winds up to 90 kilometers per hour can be expected in the northern, north central, eastern, northwestern, western, central and Sabaragamu provinces. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. 21 new judges to the superior courts were sworn in before the president today. Justice Arjuna Besekara was sworn in as the president of the Court of Appeal. The total count of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 24,255. The bodies of COVID-19 victims that were not claimed by the relatives will be cremated on the government's expense. The GC ordinary level examination will be postponed. Schools in the eastern province will be closed for 3 days due to inclement weather. And on news overseas, Biden nominates a woman as a U.S. Treasury Secretary for the first time.